Aquí continuamos en este primer simposio articulando el deporte, organizado por OAFI, por el Comité Olímpico Español, por la Fundación y los Servicios Médicos del Atlético de Madrid. Ya saben que muchas veces yo les pido que vean nuestro teléfono, que se incorporen a nuestro voluntariado, que se incorporen a ser socios de OAFI y a participar también en los diferentes estudios y ensayos que OAFI realiza. Y es que hay una parte de OAFI muy importante, que es la parte de I+D. Esa parte de I+D la lleva la doctora Mariana Vitaloni. Para mí es un placer presentarles a todos ustedes, ya la conocen porque además participó en la primera jornada de este congreso, es nuestra directora de I+D de OAFI Foundation, que nos va a presentar una mesa, nos va a moderar una mesa también con el doctor Quintana y el doctor Weber sobre un estudio en el que se participan entidades de 12 países.
5 países.
5 países,
12 entidades.
Una de ellas OAFI,
Exacto.
que es Triangle.
Exacto.
Pues doctora Vitaloni,
Gracias.
la pantalla, los micrófonos y la cámara es suya.
Gracias, Ricardo. So it's a great pleasure today to be here with all of you and to present for the first time this international project that, as Ricardo said, we are collaborating together with other 11 organizations within 5 different European countries. TRIANKLE is an international project founded by the European Commission within the Horizon 2020 framework. This is a very competitive framework for scientific projects, and in OAFI we are honored to be part of this consortium. The objective of this international project is to find a new regenerative therapies for tendinopathies and osteoarthritis that are two very strictly correlated pathologies that many times affected athletes and which can decrease their athletic potential. Up to date, there is no a definitive therapies for these pathologies. So this is why we decided to create this consortium that is formed by highly prestigious scientists and researchers. And today, actually, we have 2 of the main representatives of the consortium here with us. They are going to present the rationale of the project. We welcome Dr. Luis Quintana. Dr. Quintana is a chemist and also he has a PhD in bioengineering by the Institut Químic de Sarrià in Barcelona. He also holds an MBA, and Dr. Quintana is specialized in business development in the biomedical area. He has experience in seed capital investment and entrepreneurship in biotech companies such as Sagetis Biotech, which received in 2009 an award of the Barcelona Council to the best entrepreneurial initiative of the year. Congratulations. Since December 2015, Dr. Quintana is corporate manager in Viscofan Bioengineering and is responsible for the biomedical business unit of Viscofan in Germany. And we also have the pleasure to welcome Dr. Achim Weber. He also studied chemistry, but at the University of Stuttgart, and since 2000 he has a postdoc position at the Institute of Interfacial Process Engineering and Plasma Technology of the University of Stuttgart. From 2006, he was a group manager at Fraunhofer to particle-based system and formulation, and from 2011 to 2018, he was deputy head of the Department of Interfacial Engineering and Material Science. Since 2019, he is deputy head of Innovation Field, Functional Surface and Material. His research interests are forming an understanding of smart and nanoscopic materials and its surfaces, particle application in different fields, additive manufacturing in bioprinting. With his group, he is working on the development of bio-based materials and formulation of bioinks, which can be used to fabricate bioartificial tissue equivalents and coatings that mimic the native tissue matrix. So thank you both for joining us in the first symposium of sports medicine organized by the Osteoarthritis Foundation International. And please, Dr. Quintana, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mariana, for this nice presentation. I will now share my presentation. So I will be talking today about this TRIANKLE project. Now, this is a project that actually was born through conversations with some of our partners, Fraunhofer, University of Basel, and Football Club Barcelona, because we were looking for places where collagen could bring an added value to new therapies and new ideas. No? And well, I'm representing Viscofan, the biomedical business of Viscofan. Viscofan is a company that maybe in Spain might be known because it's part of the IBEX 35 stock index, which means it's a big company. We're about 5,000 people worldwide. And I'm responsible for the biomedical business. And collagen has been applied for medical purposes for quite a while. It's been used for implants of many kinds. And while looking to problems that we could solve that could be meaningful for athletes, we came across an existing problem that affects people with osteoarticular diseases. No? And this is where the TRIANKLE story starts. No? So it starts with the problems like osteotendinopathies, osteoarthritis, so basically cartilage, ligament, and tendon problems, which are extremely common. They're extremely common generally, so for everybody, and particularly, especially probably for athletes, because these are tissues that are subject to significant amount of stress throughout the careers of any elite athlete. And this is something that, of course, needs to be addressed and improved. No? In general, as a kind of figures, no? Osteoarthritis-related healthcare costs are about 76.5 billion in the EU, only in Europe. And then in terms of tendinopathies, we're talking about annual costs of around 140 billion. These are, of course, gross estimates, but they give an idea of how big of a problem these osteoarticular diseases are. And that's the reason also why the European Commission opened a funding program specifically directed to development of regenerative therapies for these problems. No? And that's where we presented our proposal. So what happens when people have these problems? Basically, people lose functionality. No? It's very evident in the case of athletes. There's even athletes that have to retire early from their performance because they have knee problems or whatever. No? There's a lot of casuistics here. But in general, problems in these osteoarticular diseases lead to loss of functionality. In the worst cases, even complete loss of functionality. So people having real troubles, even walking. No? What can we do now? So what are the current therapies? This is probably something that is most interesting for general audience that is not so familiar with these problems or that are just starting to suffer them. The usual ways these problems are treated currently are conservative therapies. These are the typical physiotherapy, let's say, no? So resting and then recovering through physiotherapeutic treatments. And then surgical reconstruction. And this has many different procedures right now. You can make surgical reconstruction only with sutures, so basically nailing the tissues together, or you can use implants in order to heal, to help the healing of these damaged tissues. The problem is that none of these approaches can really achieve full healing. There's a high risk of rupture, especially for conservative therapy. So these kind of rest and physiotherapeutic treatments have relatively high risk of rupture. This is something that we see very often also in athletes. So athletes that have this kind of osteoarticular problems, they are often also recidivant. So they get this same problem again and again. And this is something that belongs to be solved. And this is where Triangle practically was born. So in these conversations with medical director Gil Rodas from Football Club Barcelona, but also with the rest of the partners in the consortium, we tried to develop a set of partners that can improve the treatment portfolio for all patients suffering from osteoarticular diseases. Now, this is our vision as a project and as a consortium. And also very important for us is to understand all social, ethical, and regulatory aspects of these therapies. So it has been usual for decades that developers and researchers do their thing, and they kind of don't take into account what in the end are the needs of the people that will be using or will be receiving these therapies. And this is something that we want to take into consideration very early in this development process. Now, that's also the reason why we are partnering, why OAFI is actually one of the partners of the consortium, so that we can, together with OAFI, understand these needs of the elite athletes and other patient populations that suffer from these diseases. And then from this vision, we get to our mission. Our mission is to basically use the right collagen material for the right application. And collagen is a very versatile material. It can be presented in different forms, in form of collagen, pure collagen, but also in form of gelatin, which is a derivate from collagen, let's call it like that. So you can use different kinds of collagens for different kinds of applications. This is something that we will be exploring in this project. We will also be exploring the use of active ingredients. So basically things that will favor or trigger regenerative responses in the damaged tissues to improve the performance of the overall therapy. And then also it is in our mission to develop kind of portfolio of therapies with these different backbones or tools that we will be developing in the project to develop a pipeline of different complexities to treat different kinds of patients. And that has to do with this understanding of the needs of the patients. The needs of an elite athlete, a football player or a basketball player or a marathon runner might not be the same than a person with 60, 70 years of age that has very good health situation, but osteoarticular problems which impede him to have a normal active life. So understanding these different needs will help us to develop this kind of different additive complexity in the therapies. And now I will leave the word to Achim, who will be explaining to you the approach that we have in the project. Achim,
yes,
the floor is yours.
Thank you, Luis. These figures summarize the triangle concept that is based on the functionalization of two types of materials. This is modified gelatin, as Luis already mentioned, and collagen fibers. With either on the lower right side, you see the cells, the adipose-derived stem cells, and regenerative factors, or growth factors in the case of cartilage replacement. The development of these new functional biomaterials for both approaches are based on the principles of tissue regeneration and aims at generating biological scaffolds to treat impaired joint tissues. Here you see two examples, articular, cartilage, ligament, and tendon with the desired shape and properties, such as the tensile strength, for example, which is important in tendon repair, for example. Two case studies of this type of ankle joint tissues rupture will be assessed. Here, one the Achilles and the other side the astragalus. And we will perform in vitro testing and preclinical testing with animal disease models. And hopefully this triangle approach will be used as a technological platform for the development of future regenerative therapies in this area. So next slide. Here you see the overview of the countries which are involved and companies. First, Viscofan is heading and coordinating this wonderful project. Then Cell Inc. is an international innovative biotechnological company with focus on the development of 3D bioprinting. And we from Fraunhofer will perform tasks related to the biomolecule modification, formulation of the bioinks, and so on. And we do this together with the University of Stuttgart, where the more basic research is done for the formulation of the inks for this concept. Then we have also the Universidad del País Vasco, which are developing the different controlled release drug delivery systems, first with probably lipid nanoparticles and the other side with polymeric nanoparticles, in which the growth and regenerative factors are encapsulated. Then we have the University of Eindhoven, where the scaffold validation will take place, especially the mechanobiological and preclinical in vitro testing. Then we have Leithart, which will coordinate the preclinical in vivo studies and ensure the ethical and regulatory compliance of Triangle and so on. We have also the Football Club Barcelona Association within the project. They will participate in the development and culture of stem cells for the preclinical trials and will have a great effect in the exploitation and the IP strategy, the dissemination. OAFI, the host of this meeting, will lead the creation of a user committee, for example, to ensure the acceptance of these new potential therapies and will communicate and disseminate the project. Then we have a clinic, the FCRB. Well, they will participate as preclinical validation center through its medical doctors, which are specialized in regenerative medicine, and they will give support in patients' involvement in this project. We have also Gradocell. They will lead the work package related to the ethical and regulatory aspects. And the Cambridge Nanomaterials Technology Limited, CNT, they will provide comprehensive innovation management and will help us exploitation management by exploitation management. So yes, and then the expected impact and results is to increase the functionality recovery ratios of 10 to 15%, and the recovery time and costs of up to 50%. Well, we want to have triangle scaffold based as well as on fibrous collagen, as well as on methacrylated gelatin. And we have a customized 3D bioprinter with Cell Inc. The key figures are that we are funded by nearly €6 million, and we have these 12 partners from 5 EU countries, or 4 EU countries and 1 other country in Europe. And we started in 21 in January. And thank you for your kind interest.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Akim. It was very interesting presentation, and thank you, Luis, especially to explain the role of OAFI within the project. I think that it's one of the innovative parts of TRIANKLE to have a patient organization and to incorporate the patient's view within such important scientific project. It's not something that is normally happening in big scientific projects as TRIANKLE is. So I would like to ask you some questions that could be interesting for our audience. So it is surprising to see that a part of OAFI that is kind of different organization compared to the other scientific organization participating within the project. In TRIANKLE, we can count also with the collaboration of the Football Club Barcelona. So how did it happen that the Football Club Barcelona decided to join the consortium?
Well, it happens through networking, of course. No, we knew of each other. Dr. Gil Rodas is interested in regenerative therapies because they have problems with athletes, that they have problems to heal. And as he mentioned many times, the arsenal that they have to treat these patients has not changed much in the last 20, 30 years. No? So basically, they're doing more or less the same, optimizing what they do have, but they have very limited tools to treat these patients. And they were looking for alternatives, and we were looking to problems that we could solve with our collagen-based materials, and then there was a clear match. So that's when speaking with him and with other partners like Achim Fraunhofer, with whom we have been already working on these collagen materials for some time, and also others, then it came everything together, and we built up the project now. And coming to the comment that you made before, as we understand, and that's why it's also part of our vision, that the understanding the needs of patients is something really important. That's why we looked for somebody who could make this link and help us understand them. That's how we asked OAFI to participate, and you kindly accepted to take this role.
Yeah, thank you. And so in this line, when do you think that patient will be able to have access to these new technologies?
Oof, this is an R&D project, which means we will be working in the lab and in animals, but not more than that in this 4-year project that we are making. These regenerative therapies take time to develop. So this is something that people should not expect to be seeing anytime very soon, even after finishing the project. For people to get an idea, if the final therapies that we propose only have collagen-like materials, so less complex systems, it takes about 4 or 5 years to get such a product into the market, because you need to make a lot of validations, even preclinical regulatory trials. There's a lot of things you have to do to make sure that the product is safe before you really can bring it into the patients. No? If the product has cells, as is one of the therapeutic approaches that we are looking into, then it takes much longer. Then it's called that's what it's called, advanced therapeutic medicinal product, ATMP are the short term for that. And these are like pharmaceutical products. So it takes about 10 to 12 years development as any other pharmaceutical product. usually longer because it's more complex to develop such a cell therapy than a pharmaceutical product. So we're talking about long-term solutions.
Yeah, and in this line, Achim, is the material that you are using for the regeneration of ligaments and tendons already approved?
Yes and no. There are the basic materials are approved, yes, but as we surely modify the materials in a certain way that we have the right physical behavior of the product, it's clear that we have to go through the approval of the whole system. And there are the new materials we hopefully develop within.
And if I understood correctly, once that you have this bioink scaffold implanted, for example, in animal models or in the future in humans, how do you plan to deliver the cells and the growth factor within the scaffolds?
Yes, we have the factors encapsulated in nanoparticles, lipid nanoparticles, or polymeric nanoparticles with approved materials, and they have a drug delivery time over several days and weeks. So they will incorporate it into the bioink and then print it together with the supporting material. Maybe the cells will also be printed directly. Maybe afterwards the scaffold will be seeded with the cells.
Okay. So yeah, thank you. So we will inform our audience on the advance of the project and to see how the final technology will be developed and which will be the best solution for this regenerative therapy. So a final question to both of you. So do you think that regenerative therapies are the solution for injuries and joint injuries and these kind of pathologies? What do you think?
Achim, do you want to start?
Oh, well, yes, this is a very new edge of medicine. So I think we have to try it out, and I have good hope that we have really good chances to come to a therapy in time.
Yeah, I would say so regenerative therapies are not the solution for everything, but they are indeed a very good solution for some of the problems that are there existing. So it is not the holy grail. So you cannot, we will not be able to solve all the degenerative problems that you can find in the human beings with regenerative therapies, but there will be indeed some, even probably a lot of problems that will be able to be dealt with much better with such therapies. That is my hope. Yeah.
Yeah, and our as well. so thank you to you both to join the first OAFI symposium on sports medicine. It was very interesting to learn more about the TRIANKLE project and to have you both here. And thank you to all our audience to be with us and to want to learn more about this project. I just want to say before closing that OAFI is willing to participate to more international projects as we think that it's really important to incorporate the patient view within a scientific project. And thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Mariana.
Thank you, Dr. Quintana. Thank you, Dr. Weber. Muchísimas gracias, Mariana.
Gracias,
La doctora
Ricardo.
Vitaloni, nuestra directora de I+D, tal vez no es la parte más visible, pero es una parte fundamental importantísima del trabajo pensando en la calidad de vida, como han escuchado, en este caso del tobillo, con 12 organizaciones europeas, entre ellas OAFI, trabajando para mejorar esa calidad de vida. Y ahí está la doctora Vitaloni al frente de esa área de I+D, con gente como el doctor Quintana o el doctor Weber. Muchísimas gracias, doctora.
Gracias.
Un placer, Mariana, hasta cuando tú quieras. Y a ustedes les emplazo que ojalá quieran dentro de unos instantes, porque volvemos enseguida. Muchas gracias.